Hey, what's up, guys? So, we are officially 3 days away from the very much anticipated PlayStation Showcase, and so I wanted to make a video going over my predictions for what I think will show up, what I think will not show up. The majority of this video, I'm going to be going over specifically PlayStation Studios and the games they're working on, and what games they're rumored to be working on. And then to end the video, I will go over my predictions when it comes to third-party games that I think might show up at the showcase. And also keep in mind, yes, I'm not going to be going over every single PlayStation Studio because if I'm being honest, there are a few of them that I know nothing about as far as the studio and just what they're working on, and honestly I don't really care what they're working on. It doesn't sound interesting. I'm just focusing on the ones that I mainly am interested in. So kicking it off, we're going to talk about Sucker Punch. Now, even though we don't know what it is, the game they are currently working on is described as an open world story-driven game. Now, a lot of people have speculated, is it Ghost of Tsushima 2? Is it a new Infamous game? And we don't know. And also, they have a second project that they're working on, and apparently that is a multiplayer / live service game, and that is most likely going to be a dedicated standalone Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer game. And honestly, when it comes to my expectations for Sucker Punch at this showcase, I feel like there's a 50-50 chance that they show up or don't show up. If they show up, I won't be shocked. If they don't, I also won't be shocked. And so yeah, if Sucker Punch does end up making an appearance at the showcase this week, I feel like it will be a teaser for Ghost of Tsushima 2. Alright, so moving on to the next PlayStation studio, and that is Santa Monica. Now, there has been a lot of speculation over Santa Monica because they just released God of War Ragnarok at the end of last year, and we know that Santa Monica is currently working on a new IP, which is going to be Cory Barlog's next game, and also Santa Monica is working on a second project, but that is a unannounced title, so we don't know what that is. When it comes to Santa Monica being at this week's showcase, I'm going to give it like a 90% chance, and I feel like it will be the new IP that Cory Barlog has been working on. I just think it makes sense. Now, obviously, if they're not ready, then it's not going to happen, but I just feel like it's been such a long time since we've heard from Cory Barlog. I know that I believe back at the last showcase, almost 2 years ago, Sid Schumann was asking Cory about his next game, and he couldn't say anything, and that was almost 2 years ago. So I feel like this is the time now to announce the new IP. And so yeah, I'm going to give it a 90% chance, and that it's going to be Cory Barlog's new game. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to one of the big dogs, and that is Insomniac Games. Now, we obviously know Insomniac Games is currently working on Spider-Man 2, and they are also working on Wolverine, and apparently they have a third project in the works, and apparently it's going to be a multiplayer game. I've heard rumors that it's going to be like a superhero multiplayer game. I don't know if it's going to be like in the Spider-Man universe. But obviously, yes, 1,000,000% chance Insomniac Games will show up during the showcase. We are finally going to see Spider-Man 2 gameplay. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to, what are the chances of us getting a new trailer for Wolverine or gameplay, I don't expect that literally at all. I feel like Insomniac is solely going to focus on Spider-Man 2. I feel like that is how Sony is going to end the showcase, is with Spider-Man 2, probably like a big gameplay sequence, and it's going to blow our minds, and they're probably going to show off like a new Spider-Man 2 PS5 bundle or DualSense controller, and they're going to give us the release date and probably drop pre-orders, or just say, hey, pre-orders go live next week. I genuinely think that's what's going to happen when it comes to Insomniac Games. Okay, so moving on to Polyphony Digital. Now, I don't have a whole lot to say on this because their only project apparently right now is a new Gran Turismo game. Do I feel like Polyphony will show up at the showcase, I'm going to give it probably like a 20% chance because they just released a Gran Turismo game last year. So there's like no way that they're ready to show anything. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 20% chance for Polyphony Digital. Now, moving on to Guerrilla Games. So Guerrilla Games' current project is a live service game set in the Horizon universe. And also their second project is apparently Horizon 3. And then their third project, they are working on some type of external project. When it comes to Guerrilla Games being at the showcase, I'm going to give it 50-50 chance. And I feel like if Guerrilla Games does show up, they will probably reveal the Horizon live service game, which apparently already got leaked and it kind of looks like Fortnite. So if that's the case, I am totally gonna pass, but yeah, I feel like if Guerrilla Games does show up at the showcase, they will probably reveal the Horizon live service game. Now, moving on to my favorite studio, and that is Naughty Dog. Their current project is this Last of Us multiplayer game. And their second project is described as a AAA narrative and storytelling game. And also, apparently, they are working on a third project, but that has not been announced, so we don't know. Now, I truly believe Naughty Dog 100% will show up during the showcase, but what I'm not sure of is what are we going to see? Now, I can almost guarantee it's going to be this Last of Us multiplayer game, but I could be wrong because back last year at the Summer Game Fest, Neil Druckmann was on stage and he actually showed the concept art for this multiplayer game. So I wouldn't be totally shocked if maybe they're holding off until Summer Game Fest, but at the same time, I don't expect that at all. That doesn't make sense because if you're Sony, you're going to want to show and reveal your biggest and best games at whatever show is going to get the most eyes on your product, and that's obviously going to be a PlayStation showcase compared to Summer Game Fest. So in my eyes, it only makes sense to reveal this Last of Us multiplayer game at the showcase. And there's also rumors that Naughty Dog might show off their next AAA single player game, whether it's new IP, The Last of Us Part 3. I mean, that would be awesome. That would be a dream announcement if Naughty Dog announced The Last of Us Part 3, but I don't expect that at all. I feel like Naughty Dog is only going to reveal and show off The Last of Us multiplayer, and that's it. I feel like it's too early to be seeing Naughty Dog's actual next AAA narrative-driven game. And so yeah, I'm giving them 100% chance, and I truly believe we will be seeing gameplay for this Last of Us multiplayer game. Now, moving on to San Diego Studio. This is a studio that I know next to nothing about, but what they're working on has me at least somewhat interested because apparently their current project is a AAA third-person action game. Most games that come out nowadays are AAA third-person action games, so that could literally be anything. So honestly, I'm going to give them a 50-50 chance on showing up. Now, moving on to London Studio. This studio is currently working on a live service fantasy co-op game. Now, they also put out concept art, and if I find a picture of it, I will try and put it in the video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now, as of right now, based off of that concept art image, I am not interested in this game at all. We do know it's a live service game, but it'll have a fantasy setting, and it's going to be co-op. So yeah, I give it a 50-50 chance. I mean, I honestly kind of hope they don't show up because that would take away time for things I'm more interested in. So yeah, I'll just give it a 50-50 chance for London Studio. Now, moving on to Ben Studio. This is very interesting because, over the past couple years with PlayStation and Ben Studio, there's been drama. There's been rumors that Ben Studio wanted to make Days Gone 2 and Sony didn't care and they didn't greenlight it. But then recently, and back then, once those articles, surfaced on the internet, everyone thought, oh, Sony's the bad guy. Why aren't they letting Ben Studio make the games that they want to make? And then within the past year or whatever. Apparently, the reason why Days Gone 2 never got greenlit was because it was the upper management was having like issues, and like people left the studio and stuff like that. So they just decided to make a new IP. And also, there's been rumors that this new IP is going to be like it'll take place in the Cold War, and it's going to be like a stealth game, so kind of like Metal Gear or Splinter Cell. So, I mean, honestly, I'm very intrigued by Ben Studio and whatever this new IP is, especially if those rumors are true. But I feel like it's still too early, so I'm going to give it a 30% chance that Ben Studio shows up. Now, moving on to Housemarque. They are currently working on a new IP, so I really don't think we're going to see Housemarque during the showcase at all. The last game they released was their biggest game they've ever made, and I believe it came out in 2021, so it's only been a couple years, and they're doing a new IP, which is very hard to do and very expensive, so I'm going to give it a 30% chance that Housemarque shows up. I just don't expect to see them at all. Now, moving on to Fire Sprite. So their current project is a AAA narrative adventure, which I'm interested in, and their second project is a new IP multiplayer action shooter. I don't know a whole lot about Fire Sprite, but the fact that they're working on a AAA story-driven game, I mean, by default, until I at least see it, as of right now, I'm interested. And so yeah, I'm going to give it just a 50-50 chance. Now, moving on to one of the more interesting studios, and that is Blue Point Games, because their current project is an original AAA IP. It's not a guarantee that it's new IP. They could literally be taking another franchise and just putting their own spin on it, which technically does mean original because it's never been done before. You know, there's been rumors that Blue Point is going to be the ones doing like the rebooted Uncharted, or a remake of Bloodborne, or a Bloodborne sequel, or maybe even Metal Gear Solid. Now, I feel like there is a 70% chance that Blue Point Games does show up during the showcase, because I feel like it's just time. The last game they released was obviously Demon's Souls back in 2020, and you can just tell, like, they did a phenomenal job with that remake, you know, so I feel like they most likely will show up, and I feel like if they do show up, they will reveal that they've been working on either Uncharted or Bloodborne. Now, obviously, I feel like most people, including myself, would be more interested with like a Bloodborne remake, because, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of them rebooting Uncharted. I feel like they should just stop making Uncharted games. You know, we've already gotten like 5 of them. But yeah, I feel like if they show up, they will announce Uncharted or a Bloodborne remake. Now, moving on to Haven Studio. I believe this is the studio that Mark Cerny has been helping development for. So their current project is a AAA multiplayer IP. So yeah, I mean, I know Jade Raymond, who I think used to work on the Call of Duty games. She's like the main person there now with Mark Cerny helping development. I'm going to give it a 50-50 chance. You know, I'm not too interested right now because I'm not the biggest multiplayer fan. Whatever this game that they're working on, hopefully it's good and not like, oh wow, this is a complete waste of time and money, you know? Alright, so moving on to Firewalk. They are currently working on a new multiplayer IP. Now, just like Haven Studio, I don't know pretty much anything about this studio, so I'm going to give it a 50-50 chance they show up at the showcase. And yeah, guys, those are the PlayStation studios that I found something that they're working on interesting enough to talk about. And so to close out this video, I want to take some time talking about third-party reveals, because Sony's already confirmed that there will be third-party games announced at this showcase. So I want to go over the ones that make the most sense, the ones that I think are very, very likely to show up. And the first one is Silent Hill 2 Remake, because this game actually didn't get revealed at a PlayStation show. It was actually at, I believe, Konami's, like they did their own Silent Hill like showcase and stuff. And that's where we got the reveal of Silent Hill 2 Remake. And we know that it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. And also, it is apparently supposed to come out later this year. Assuming all those are true, which we know for a fact it's a PS5 exclusive, if the game is supposed to come out later this year and we haven't seen any gameplay yet, it would make the most sense to show off gameplay for the first time at the showcase. I give this like a 90% chance. I feel like it's almost a guarantee it'll show up at the showcase. Now, the next third-party game that I don't feel as confident when it comes to showing up at the showcase is Alan Wake 2. Now, earlier today, there apparently was a voice actor from the game. I don't know if it was the guy that voices Alan Wake himself or he's just a voice actor in Alan Wake 2. But apparently he was like on a podcast or something, and he said that Alan Wake 2 is supposed to release in October of this year. So that's another game that is almost finished, and it's still supposed to release this year, But I could also see Alan Wake 2 showing up at the Summer Game Fest because Alan Wake 2 first got revealed at the Game Awards, which obviously is ran by Jeff Keighley, But I feel like there's a better chance that we'll see this game at the showcase, so I feel like there's probably like a 75% chance that we'll see it. Now, the final third-party game that I want to talk about is the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, because over the past couple weeks there's been a lot of rumors coming out that Sony has struck a major exclusivity deal with Konami to bring back Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, and we obviously know that Silent Hill 2 is a PlayStation exclusive and it's a remake, and obviously when I talked about Blue Point Games earlier, there's been rumors that they've been working on Metal Gear Solid. There's been rumors that Virtua Studios has been working on Metal Gear Solid. Just so many rumors going around for the longest time. And the fact that it's still, Metal Gear remake. I feel like I'm not going to believe this until I actually see it, because Metal Gear remakes have been rumored for so long now that it's almost like when it comes to Bloodborne. I believe Bloodborne will get remade one day, but I won't actually truly believe it until I actually see it. And then probably even then I'll be like, is this real? I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm sure you guys understand where I'm coming from. But yeah, I do think that Metal Gear Solid 3 remake will be announced at the showcase, and it will probably be a PS5 exclusive. Now, even if that does happen, I don't think this game is ready to come out. I feel like it'll probably be released maybe in 2024 or something like that. But yeah, those are my big third-party games that I feel like there is a very, very good chance that they make an appearance during the PlayStation Showcase. And so yeah, guys, down below, let me know your thoughts on my predictions for this showcase. Let me know what you agree with. Let me know what you disagree with. And also let me know down below, what is a dream game that you would hope to be announced at the showcase? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it or found it informative, drop it a like and hit the subscribe button by turning on the post notification bell so you don't miss my next upload. Until next time, guys, take care.